Gentleman from Washington's amendment to strike that subcommittee mistake.
Mr. Franks.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I'm in memory of some of the same arguments that were made many years ago when Ronald Reagan proposed the Strategic Defense Initiative. They called it science fiction. They called it Star Wars derisively. And yet today, because of his insight, because of the willingness to consider what we could do, we have a limited missile defense capability in this country that, in my judgment and the judgment of many, protects my children and all of yours, perhaps from a North Korean launch at some point that they want to at least put us under threat. And, Mr. Chairman, some of the discussions about price, let me just say a robust yet limited constellation would cost about $26 billion over 20 years, or $1.3 billion per year. And according to the Hudson study, as well as the IDA study, there are a variety of ways we could get the cost down even further if we get serious and invest in it. And this also should be noted that this is a plan for research and a space test bed, not to actually build the system at this time. And it's always wise for us to consider looking ahead. And finally, before I give a little clearer picture of this, Mr. Chairman, I don't think there's anything in this amendment that directly conflicts with Admiral Searing's perspective. We don't know what we can and can't do, and this is a means of ascertaining it, or at least trying to find greater insight into it. No one respects Admiral Searing more than I do. He is caught many times between the machinations of Congress, where we force him to take from critical systems to pay for other critical systems, and I think he would like to try to avoid that conundrum. But this is certain, Mr. Chairman. Our near-peer adversaries are now capable of attacking our critical space assets. This debate is no longer academic, and the question now before this committee is, what shall we do about it? These adversaries have taken note of the immense force multiplier U.S. space dominance provides our military, and they've also observed the defenseless nature of our space assets. If we are to abandon the commanding heights of future battlefields without a fight, it will be our military who suffers the consequences as they find themselves cut off and fighting blind in an austere environment far from home. China has clearly demonstrated an operational direct ascent anti-satellite missile capability and proven that it can reach from geosynchronous orbit to low orbit, Earth orbit. Russia's also tested a direct ascent ASAT, and North Korea and Iran have both launched satellites into orbit. In fact, Iran just tested their Samor space launch vehicle earlier this week. The threat is outpacing our technology. A recent Hudson Institute report, co-authored by over a dozen leaders in the U.S. Missile Defense, Arms Control, and Space Policy, including 2 former directors of the MDA and 2 former NORCOM commanders, said this, quote, "A space-based layer will dramatically augment U.S. terrestrially and sea-based defense capabilities, reduce demands on current systems, and provide the United States with optimal vantage point for destroying enemy missiles. Most significantly, a space-based layer provides the ability to destroy many missiles during their boost phase while the missile is still over enemy territory." Mr. Chairman, there are no treaties prohibiting space-based interceptors, and concerns about debris are overstated. Enemy missiles destroyed in boost phase cannot produce long-lived orbital debris. Russia and China are signaling their strategy. They're working to assault our space assets and exploiting the gaps in our missile defense network. Iran and North Korea, though less advanced, are much less predictable and continue to work feverishly to enhance their ballistic missile capabilities. If we wait for the threat to mature and materialize, the cost to rapidly develop an ability to counter it will grow exponentially. This amendment will lay the groundwork for future space-based layer of our missile defense. In the face of growing threats proposed by unstable actors and increasingly belligerent great powers, Mr. Chairman, it's our moral duty to oppose them on every front and